enjoying the videos, it helps if you like and subscribe and all that stuff. If you'd like to join a Zoom meeting, visit my website kennethmann.net and send me an email. I'll put you on the email list, or go to my Patreon where there's the schedule every week for what Zooms I'm doing and all that. This video is from March of this year in Amsterdam, and I'm going back there next month, so you're welcome to come along to that. It's on the 22nd and 23rd of November, and before then I'm in Hampstead, London, actually next weekend, the 25th and 26th of October. I also do regular meetings now in Galway on the first Friday of the month. So just send me an email. It's about 20 minutes outside Galway City, but it's not that hard to get to. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and maybe see you or talk to you. You can also contact me through the website if you have questions or anything.
So why does there appear to be less, more space and less of a character here when there's a speaker on this subject around?
So, well, this sharing. There's an energy to the sharing. There's an energy to the communication that's boundless. It's just it's indescribable. But when it's shared like this, there's a boundlessness to it, and that's just how it is. Because really, if you think about it, when you feel you're living your life, you're continually being spoken to as somebody, offered something, or whatever it is, you're being spoken to all the time. And then when there's this, if it's a clear, uncompromising sharing, then energetically there's a resonance with that. It's just energetic, but it's not particular to the meeting really. When it resonates, it can just be obvious that there's just whatever's going to happen.
So there's no letting this in more or something, or
No, there's just what's appearing. There's only what's appearing to happen. So appearing to come to a meeting or not, none of it matters. Or go on a Zoom or not go on a Zoom or listen. It's just what's appearing to happen. It doesn't matter. But when there's a real resonance with what's being said, there can be this draw to it.
But it can also be seen that it's inescapable. It doesn't actually matter. It is standing at a bus stop or scratching your face, or it's inescapable. It's just aliveness.
Okay, and what do you mean by it doesn't matter?
Well, there's not even really a meeting. Like his question was, why is it that seems to be maybe less of a feeling of being separate when I come to a meeting like this or something. So the answer is, what I'm saying is that when it's shared like this in an uncompromising way, there's a boundlessness to this. It can just be very obvious that this is actually everything. This is everything Amsterdaming. And it's very simple and ordinariness, and it can just be sensed. And it's nothing to do with the speaker. It's absolutely nothing to do with me or you, because there is no me or you. And that's the energy of the communication. But when it resonates like that, it can just also, like I'd often hear from people, they go to a meeting and then it might be the next day, you know, they're brushing their teeth, they're tying their lace, and it's something that's like, oh, there's just what's appearing to happen. So the meeting is, it's not this kind of special thing, obviously, and it's not even really happening. But it stands in contrast to the communication that we're so accustomed to of being spoken to. So we're being spoken to all day long. You know, all the time you're being addressed as an individual. And then there's this sharing where you're not being seen as an individual at all. That's unconditional love there, just not in its head. Our wholeness, you know what I mean? So it's a very different sharing in that sense. That's all I can say really about it, and it's just heard as it's heard. For some it's like watching paint dry maybe. And then for others it's just resonates. You know? So it's not actually anything. But what it's singing or what it's about is completely ordinary and inescapable. It's not like available now in the meeting, you know, and then when the meeting's over, it's not available. I mean, that would be just a story. It's just always, yeah. So this sense of feeling like there's a you, it's possible that it's just not there. And it could appear as tomorrow or Wednesday or 8 o'clock, or it could be now during the meeting, possibly. I have no idea. So, like from here, there's not even a meeting. There appears to be a meeting, but it's no different or significant than anything else. They'll appear to be cycling a bike after the meeting. They'll appear to be getting on a plane, and it's all just aliveness. It's just, there's nothing, and that's the way it is. Like there's no agenda here. There's just a sharing. It's totally agendaless. Yeah. There's no goal to anything.
I mean, that's just so, it's like so innocent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nothing at all. It's just what it appears, it's whatever it appears to be. It's what we yearn for is indescribably simple and ordinary and obvious. It's too obvious. It's never left you. What you've yearned for has never gone anywhere. It's never left you. But you, being you, have kind of been lost looking for it. It's simply breathing, sitting, whatever. And it is like there is a kind of a there's a total openness, and it's like childlike wonder, really, in a sense. What we yearn for is like childlike. It's just this, the newness of everything, the newness of not knowing.
Speaking about children, I observed that very young children, when they learn to speak, when they speak, and they speak about themselves by their name in the third person.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Yeah.
And that is so interesting. That is,
Very interesting.
Radha, I want this, or Radha wants this, Radha doesn't like this. So they speak about the name in the third person.
Oh yeah, no, very interesting. Yeah,
It's so interesting about. There is something in that.
Yeah, I think.
Resonates with this.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like when you see a small baby, it's just aliveness, and actually there's not even a differentiation between the baby and the mother, because obviously the child it just feels like one entity, and there is a certain point. They say, I've often read, about 6 months or so, where there's a realization of the mother is different, and that's very common. There's tons of books written about this and everything, but you could look at that from that sense, is that feeling separate is an energy that there's just aliveness, and then at some point there's a sense of self, but it's still very boundless. And so the language that's kind of been taken on is like, oh, Kenneth, referring to Kenneth as a third person. It's still kind of this processing of almost learning that I am this individual, and that's really how it is. It's like we're small children, and then we're kind of indoctrined into this story, but it's also just energetic. We really do feel separate too, and we're continually confirmed all the time that you have a life. From when we're in school, and it's the dialogue is kind of like, what are you going to do with your life, and blah blah blah. But as you said, in small children there's a kind of a wildness too, and that tends to kind of dampen down as you get older. Yeah. And in one way you could kind of see it's almost like the reverse of that. When you feel you're living your life and it collapses, your sense of you kind of comes back, appears to come back, and it's like a weaning out of you, kind of. Like you can feel less like a you, and less like a you, and less like a you, and then there's,
But it's not like zoning out, right? Because sometimes I feel like I'm zoning out and I'm not really there anymore. So there is no individual there as well. But it's different than when I'm listening to what you're saying and then suddenly it's the contraction goes away. And it feels like I'm not zoning out, but I'm becoming very present or something.
Well, it's not possible to describe it really. But it's not, it's not describable. But it's certainly not, I would say, it's not a state. So zoning out to me sounds like kind of a state. It sounds like kind of somebody who's detached or zoned out. So it's not that, no. It's not a state, like, we're not talking about a state. It's so intimate that it's beyond intimacy. It's indescribable, and because we're obviously totally familiar with it because it's all there is already. It's not describable. It's just that there's just what's appearing to happen. Yeah.
It's so
And it's that lived sense of being you. Just sometimes people don't even notice it. It's even that there's something different. I've heard this a few times that people feel there's something different, but I can't describe what it is.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they realize, oh, they don't feel like me anymore. Maybe it could be a couple of days even, and they don't realize. It's like, oh, the sense of me thinking, me talking, everything just isn't there. But it's like it's so, you know.
I think it feels like a state because it looks like you can get out of it, snap out of.
Yeah.
But when I'm there, I was there of course, but
Yeah.
then it's I see that it's not a state.
No, it's not a state, and it's not describable. We could sit here all day and you would not be able to describe it to me, and I can't describe it to you, and it's utterly simple. There's just whatever is appearing to happen.
Yeah.
And actually that's all there ever is. But what can appear to arise then is a lived sense that I'm sitting, I'm crossing my legs, I'm talking. And if that appears to happen, it's just an appearance, but it will feel real then. So imagining not being there is impossible, and there might be a sense of not being there might not appear to happen, but you wouldn't be able to describe it. It's impossible. It can't be described. It's so simple. It's just whatever's appearing to happen. It's utterly simple.
Don't you think that when a young child is in an environment that with only your bodies without me in it,
Yeah.
then and language is different. That the tendency is not to to feel so separate, because I can remember the feeling of total, separation, and then loss when I was very young. And
Some people can remember. I've spoken to a few people who can actually remember.
yeah,
Remember feeling.
so
They can remember the first sense of feeling separate and
Yes.
having lost something.
I thought it was. I always thought it was like going to school and this disillusion of like, oh, is this it? Is this it? Or expecting something different.
Yeah.
But now I reckon that yesterday I had this. Suddenly, I knew there was this loss of wholeness that I was longing back to, this, to this inclusion of everything, and instead of that, I felt separated from everything.
Yeah. Most people can't remember it, but some people can. So what you're describing there, it's not unusual. Yeah. The sense of, and it can be like that. It can just be obvious that that's what that was actually about. Yeah. And that didn't even really happen, but it appeared to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my own.
Yeah, it was it appears that, and then that's what the confusion was. There's a question then, because then there's a question of the realness of everything, and why is it that I'm living my life?
Exactly.
Like I had, there's a memory here of being about maybe 10 or 11 and really considering, but how can I have a life though?
Yeah.
But who do you speak to about that?
No, nobody.
Nobody, there's no, because you go to someone and they just shake, oh come on, stop. Of course you have a life,
The first memory I can remember is that I was in my this children chair
Yeah.
with a piece of bread in my mouth between my lips and thinking, this is a memory.
Ah.
And I can remember that.
Yeah.
But that's when time starts to work. Like
Time
you have
started
past-
then,
if you
yes,
have memory
yeah.
of the past,
Yeah.
It's like that I was trying to pin that moment to remember from then on. So,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen because, yeah,
No.
it was a creation.
Fiction and a story, a narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the linear causal nature of everything is all about you. It's all from the sense of you. That sense that, and also the sense that that memory there of being a baby, sitting in the baby chair and the food, we have this sense of continuity that I'm the same person. Like it's me. So this me is the same person that if I look at a picture and I'm playing on I can remember the day. I can remember the beach and I can remember the feeling of the sun and I see the picture and I remember that day when I was 10. And I will have a sense that I'm the same me that was on that beach. And the hilarious thing is there is no you. There's no you there. But it's all an aspect of feeling separate, that there is 20 years, 25 years ago, and I'm the same person of 25 years ago because it feels real. The time, the sequential causal nature of it, everything is an aspect of you. That's what it is. It's only real in its appearance.
But what if in that body that is sitting in front of me, it appears a memory?
Yeah.
It is also just an appearance.
It's just a thought, yeah. So a memory comes here, and then there's a thought of, say, will I eat a croissant? It's the same. There's not really any sense. Whereas if I felt like I was separate, the memory has a kind of a different energetic quality to it. It feels like a thing that happened kind of behind me. Whereas the thought of will I eat a croissant is a presently arising thought. Whereas it's all just seen as thoughts. Like a memory is just another type of thought. Put it that way, it's just another type of thought. It's all just energy. It's all just energy. So the realness collapses out of it. Like it's almost like memory, it's like a place, it's like an island. Do you know that was really real? Because it's back there. And it really happened, and it's behind me. You know what I mean? It's it's all an illusion. This is nothing appearing to happen. Like the time, the sense of moving forward in time, and there being a past and everything, is a complete narrative. It's just an aspect of the human reality of feeling separate, which then we take to be reality. That's reality then. Time, space, causality, it's all reality. It's true, it's real, and we can prove it. But all we're doing is going around our own reality. That's all. It's just an appearance, that's all it is. There's no solidity to it at all.
No, there's no time.
No, because the time is a clock ticking on a wall. It's an appearance.
Yeah.
So again, like we were saying earlier, it's real and unreal. Like it's real in the sense that we can say the meeting starts at 1:30 and we all gather for 1:30. But there is no time. It's a narrative. It's an aspect of the narrative. Like an inch, as Alan Watts says, show me an inch. Show it to me, show me the inch. And someone goes, no, I don't want to see the ruler. I don't want to see a ruler. You're showing me a ruler now. And then they get a measuring tape. No, I didn't ask for a measuring tape. I don't want to see a measuring tape. I don't want to see a ruler. Show me an inch. You can't show an inch because there's no such thing. It's same with the clock. Like Einstein said a clock, time is a clock ticking on a wall. Tick, 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 tick. But we feel that it's real. You're living in the real as an individual. Because you're living your life. So you're living in the real because it's subject-object reality. Time is ticking. You're over there, I'm here. Everything is real because you can only see something. You can only see something because you feel like something, and there's no such thing as something. Objects are an idea. There are no objects at all. There only appear to be objects when you feel separate, and then there's a tree. There's a real thing called a tree. Whereas if you don't feel like the subject, of course the object. There can only be an object when there's a subject. The subject is me. So when you don't feel like me, then there's life trees, and life peoples, and life bicycles, and life. And that's obviously how it always was, and is.
I think for me the objection that comes up is if I allow that, I would become irresponsible.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can't. The individual cannot hear what I'm saying here. So I don't care. I'm not speaking to anybody here. And actually, the individual can only reject what's been said, really, because the individual just wants to be an individual. So the narrative of me will say, well, if there's just this, then my job will fall apart, and I won't be able to pay the bills, and I might punch that person down the street. The big one for Tony Parsons was everyone was robbing banks for years, Everyone was going out, because if they say, well, if there's no me, I just start robbing banks. It was like this ongoing joke. Everyone seemed to come up with this thing about they'd all rob a bank or something. And the big joke is you're not there already. You're already not there. There's already no you. So when you feel like a you and imagine there not being a you, you think there'll be a lack of responsibility. There'll be no warmth towards, my friends. I'll have a child. I won't care for the child anymore. I have a husband or wife. There'll be no affection anymore, because you continually think that you're doing everything, and it's an illusion. There never is a you there. Husbanding, wifing, fathering, blah blah blah, working appears to happen, and then you add yourself to it.
How do you make what he's saying is also what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
So there is. How do you cross the bridge from not being anybody and in duality, sometimes having to set boundaries? I know it's an illusion between two seemingly separate entities, because if you live in duality, sometimes you have to say no or yes to something.
Who's saying no or yes?
I understand, but you have to.
Yeah, but who's saying it though?
You're irresponsible. Yeah, I understand, but if you don't say it.
Who's saying it though?
No, but if you don't say it, there is going to be consequences.
Is there? There's consequences when you feel like you're living your life. There's consequences. And you're the one who's saying no or saying yes. It's very, 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 very simple what's been suggested all afternoon. There is no you. So saying no or saying yes appears to happen. You've never done anything ever. You've never made a decision, because you are a fiction. You're not there. You never have been there. So what you're saying is, it's still implicit in what you're saying is that there must be somebody to say no or yes, or else saying no or yes wouldn't happen. There's already nobody, so saying no or saying yes appears to happen.
Okay, I get it. So there will be no, there will be yes.
There's just aliveness,
But
so there's
eye
whatever
doesn't
appears
have
to happen.
Get involved in that process. My little eye doesn't have to get involved.
But there is the sense of being an I is a complete fiction. It's a story. There is no you. So for instance, there's just aliveness as a particular, as whatever it appears as. So let's say it's a particular role in a story. Let's call it a job, and then there's something being asked of the character to do something, then if there's a sense of feeling like you will feel you're being asked and you have to say no or you have to say yes. So you're continually adding yourself to everything and have a real sense that I said no or I said yes. And what's being suggested is there's never a you there at all, and that the sense of you is just energetic and it's an appearance. So it's a continual addition of like I'm on the seat, and a sense that I'm on the seat. I picked up the glass, and there's a sense that I picked up the glass. So it's a continual sense of being added to everything. And the suggestion is very, very simple. It's all a story. It's all a story. There is no you there. Like they can even measure they did the experiments in Germany, and they could measure the addition of you to everything. There was a choice made, and they could measure how long it took to feel that you made the choice. So all choice is a total and utter dream. But you will really feel that you are making a choice between this road and this road and this decision and this decision. And it's all coming from that sense of free will, and volition is coming from the energetic sense of being you. So there's been loads of, this is a very common, this is spoken about a lot. People talk about free will and the illusion of free will, and you have all these scientists talking about it. But most of them still talk about it as if there's somebody there. And you can see on the internet now, you can see so many videos about there is no such thing as free will, all of this. But whatever it is, but it's very rare that you're always still being spoken to. Or another one that's more common now, especially with AI and stuff, there is no you actually. There's no you. But then what they'll go on to say, and what this means for your life. Or they'll say how you can bring about that there's no you. So if you just meditate, you'll see that there's no you or whatever. So it's always a compromise in there. So therefore it actually is confusing and energetically feels different. It's very simple. That's the whole thing is it's too simple.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
Thank you. See you on a Zoom maybe sometime. Free fall, who knows?
Is wholeness or unconditional love or whatever, is it an absolute subject?
It's nothing. It's indescribable and unknowable. So the words unconditional love are wholly inadequate, because every label or word is inadequate, because it's completely, totally and utterly indescribable. So for the sake of just using the words, you can say energy, aliveness, wholeness, unconditional love, blah, blah, blah. But all of them are simply pointers to something that's not describable.
I call it God then.
If you want to, but the difficulty, yeah, that's fine. And anyone can call it, everyone's right to call it whatever the fuck they want to call it. And there's nobody being told not to. But the difficulty with God is it's a word that's so laden with concept that it's very... But I'm talking in general.
Yeah.
If I was to say, all there is aliveness, all there is wholeness, all there is God, the communication would be very confusing for people, because I know I'm Irish and grew up Catholic, and everyone was Catholic, and when someone says God, I know what that evokes for me. So therefore there's a complete avoidance of that word, because I know that for most people it's a sense of a thing called God, an entity, and whatever it is, and there is no God, there is nothing, there's
And
no.
Tony's beloved.
I love the way I don't ever say that word. I've never said it, but I love how he uses that word. Yeah, the beloved. It's gorgeous. Actually, it's gorgeous. You know, I love it, but I don't. For me, that word never. I never. It's not that it doesn't resonate. It absolutely resonates. I love, but it's. I don't. It never. I never say that word. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You see, it does. It's indescribable. It doesn't really matter. All you're trying to do in one way, or all that's been attempted to be done, is kind of avoid. It's not that it can't be said. So, avoid confusing language, maybe. And in one way kind of say what it isn't, you know, because you can't say what it is, because it's just, so in one way kind of illuminate the emptiness of the fiction of you, and that can kind of unravel, and you kind of see, oh, this is a story, that's a story, oh, whatever, and then energetically what's being talked about can just be seen. You know, but it's impossible. It's an impossible communication. There's no sense here that I can talk about what's been. I can't. Nobody can. You know, but it's just an avoidance of. And for instance, like some people say, "Oh, all there is consciousness." No, I'm sorry. It's so confusing, and that's what often people would say. No, but I'm using consciousness in the same way that you're using aliveness. So all there is consciousness. And I say, well, no, because it's such a confusing term, and consciousness and awareness are used interchangeably, and really it's knowing. Consciousness is knowing. It's me being aware that I'm aware, and it has no significance whatsoever because it's just an aspect of knowing. That's all it is. So plenty of so-called teachers would use a lot of that terminology and say, well, it doesn't matter, but like it's just to me it's just confusing. And it gets so confusing, actually, that it just becomes, there's loads of these speakers that talk, and for me it's complete mumbo-jumbo what they're saying. And it's energetically, it's a totally different communication. Because really it's just going around knowing, and they're saying awareness and being aware of awareness, and the wholeness and the oneness and residing in blah, and it's just, for me, it's blah, 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 blah. Nonsense. But people love it though. People love it, and I'll tell you why they love it, because they know they're not in any threat. There's no threat with it. They know they're being spoken to. So then it's kind of nice, way to keep safe. But it's also obviously the beloved as that.
Yes.
Because all there is the beloved. So it's not right or wrong or anything. So it's not that someone can speak about it right and another person wrong. It's impossible. But it's just an illumination that most of the communication you're hearing is from that reality of separateness, and it is speaking to you. So therefore it's a different communication.
Can you actually describe the you then?
No, it's impossible. Like
You say like a contracted energy.
oh yeah, no, it's not describable.
No.
All that words are pointers, like the Zen expression, the finger pointing to the moon. You know, the finger's not the moon,
Yeah.
but the words of the language are just there to. It's just a conversation.
Yeah.
Any communication is a conversation. In there's no solid you there, but language is used, and it's like any conversation can just be seen as conceptual. And mostly what people do is they come along to these meetings and they stay with it conceptually. You know, they stay with it in a very kind of linear conceptual manner, and they try to work up through the whole meeting. If you were in this seat, what you would see is people like this. And they're trying to work out, and that's an aspect of the meeting, because they're trying to kind of figure out what's being said, and that's totally fine. It's just what appears to happen, but it's not about concept, because really hearing this is a resonance. that's beyond knowing. Nothing to do with understanding. You could have someone who's completely bamboozled by this, and their sense of being separate could just not be there. And you could have someone else that's absolutely crystal clear, totally understands everything, and still feels separate. So it doesn't matter.
The you seems to work like you say with the loopings.
Yeah.
But I cannot find it.
No, you cannot find it because it's not there.
I cannot say if it's an idea or a thought or.
Yeah. Yeah, like I as you said, I've always said it's like an energy or a contraction in the body, but even that's a story.
Yeah.
Even like I had a YouTube video last week and someone said, what are you talking about? What body are you talking about? There is no body. And they're actually right in what they're saying. But I've no problem with still describing it as a contraction in the body because these are just words that are used and it's just an excuse for this resonance. It doesn't matter. Like really there's aliveness just appearing as a body. There's not even really, because all there is energy. It's about not getting fixated on,
But the energy is it's in a form. The energy,
yeah,
the atoms and all the words, they are in a kind of
configuration or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes
a body.
Which appears to be or makes a form. Let's say a form.
Yeah, this
in our
thing.
Language.
Yeah.
In the language that we create, that we call a body.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that is there.
That is aliveness, body. Yeah.
Yes. So can we agree on that? That there is.
Oh, no problem. Yeah. I mean, but that's a body there.
Yes.
Well, what the differentiation is, what's being suggested. It's very simple. The suggestion is, this is life bodying, right?
Yes.
And all there is life bodying. But what appears to arise is an energetic, lived sense of being in the body and feeling there's a you or a me. It doesn't matter, you say you or me, or you could say an individual, whatever you want to call it. And it's real, and it's my body, and then that's not an idea, that's not a concept. That is a really lived reality for that feels separate. And then in that, I will then feel that I'm sitting on the chair, I'm talking to you, all of the sounds, I'm hearing the sound, and when there's a thought, it's me that's thinking, and I have a life, and I have control over my life, and I have making choices. And the suggestion is extremely simple. There is no you. There never has been a you. And what you call a you is a narrative, a fiction, a story, whatever you want to say. And that can just be extremely obvious. There's no process to realize that. It can just be very obvious. There's just what's appearing to happen. Of course, this body is here. It has characteristics. It has a flavor. It has a blah, blah, blah. But there's nothing solid in there. And when that energetically isn't there anymore, there's obviously nobody else either. There's nobody else. Because there was only a you over there when there was a me here. So there's just then aliveness. And it's also very obvious that all there ever was aliveness. And that sense of being a separate me, it's just a story. It's just a story. And so then when someone say, well, what's left over then? What's left over is everything. Full on aliveness for nobody. As sun and chairs and sounds and thoughts and emotions and the sense, this dualistic dream of trying to push away one thing and pull in another just isn't there anymore. Of course there's preferences and there's all of that. But there's just an indescribable in loveness with what's appearing to happen, because what's appearing to happen is everything. And everything is nothing. This is the wholeness that people had spoken about and sang about and written books after books about. It's just what's appearing to happen. It's not this big fireworky thing. The big fireworky thing came from the idea that you were separate, where you tried to imagine wholeness. And then when you felt that you were separate, you thought you could get to wholeness, and then you tried to get there in whatever way you did. So what you was thought was what was apparent to happen.
So I have had a sort of memory, I don't know what it is, that I already existed,
Yeah.
and then this thing I came to be,
Yes, yeah.
but I already existed,
Yeah,
and I felt no identification
yeah,
with this person that
yeah,
came up.
yeah,
I had that experience,
yeah.
but both were there at the same time. Like I was already there, and then this thing already was there. Only thing that was not there was that I was not identified with that thing.
Yeah.
But it seemed to be an illusion. But at the same time, they were both there.
Yeah.
There was just no stress between those two.
Okay.
Things, like it was quite normal.
Yeah, well, it's very simple. It's it's too simple. That's the problem. It's so simple. There's obviously is no you.
Mm-hmm.
There never has been a you, but the sense of the you might appear to be there. So when the sense of being you isn't there, it's hilariously simple and ordinary and obvious. And also the sense of you could appear to come back, but it's not a problem because it's just what's appearing to happen. But the lived sense of it's possible that the really lived, real feeling of you just, but for many it appears to come and go, and that's also what appears to happen.
But I'm trying to find peace with that entity can be there and also not be there at the same time. I don't know how to say it in words.
Yeah, it's...
I don't know if I say it correctly.
Well, no, you can't go wrong either, so there's no correct way of saying it. But for me, you're trying to describe something it's really indescribable. I do get a sense of what you're saying, though. I get a sense of what you're saying, and for me, what comes out of it is the sense of the paradox kind of collapsed, because the paradox is only really there when you really feel there. So from what you're saying, it's like, okay, I never even started really because it was always just aliveness. But yet, this thing called me appears to be there. But that's also not a problem. So that's, for me, you could sum up that whole thing of, that's just aliveness then. You can't really, you're not going to get to a place where you can describe that, understand that or whatever. But the paradox or the conflict comes from the one who wants to know. And what you described is very everyone is having these kind of sense of on a daily basis, but in other words, there's nobody who's not thinking about their sense of separation, but most aren't. There's no kind of, it's not seen. Because everyone who feels separate is thinking about what we're talking about. But there's just such a kind of being lost in feeling you're an individual, then that they wouldn't outwardly say it. But everyone is wondering about what we're talking about all afternoon. They're wondering about what it is they're looking for. Because there is a yearning, because they feel that everything's been lost. And everyone, it's already known, it's completely known. Everyone knows this, because everyone is already just aliveness. But overlaying that is the knowing called me that feels real, and therefore that's the confusion that appears to. Yeah.
Does that come from what we call the mind?
Yeah, I mean the mind is another idea. It's a concept of a thing called the mind. There is no mind. There's neurons. There's energy as synapses in a thing that we call the brain. And then we have this duality of a thing called the brain and a thing called the body. And there's the mind-body divide, which is another illusion, which obviously science talks about. It's like this illusion we have, like there's two things, and how the brain interacts with the body as if there were two entities. And then, if you fundamentally look at it, you have a mind. Think about that for a second. How the fuck do you have a mind?
Nobody knows.
But how do you have a fucking brain? Like, who is it that's separate, that has a brain? It's ridiculous. But that's the way we talk to each other, and we don't question it.
Yeah, actually, nobody knows what the mind is.
Nobody knows. No. You don't want to know what it is. No, we don't know what consciousness, awareness is, but we still talk about it as if it's a thing, and if it's knowable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well, like we have this, like the way you said it as well, it's like we feel like the birth is our that's our day one. So that's our start, right? We started, and now we actually feel like we're living our life then. And then what are we headed towards? Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. The big finale, the last day, you're fucked, you're dead. And it's all an illusion. There is no start, there is no end, only in our separate reality. And in that reality, then things start and they finish, and that's how we can know them. Like that story I told you at the beginning. Oh, I was in the tent, and we went from the tent to the work, and we cycled on the bike, and blah blah. It has a kind of a beginning and a middle and an end, and all of that beginning, middle, and end comes from your sense of being separate. There's no beginning, middle, or end. There's just alignment. A more accurate description actually is that Alan Watts says this as well. I don't know, some of what Alan Watts says is quite nice. I like it, and he says it's like this. We talk about you're born into the world, but really you're born out of the world. You emerge, if you think about it, And something I heard last week, I was listening to, I can't remember what it was. It doesn't matter what it was, but it was a woman. It was a female philosopher, and she said, the reason when we talk about death, we talk about life being the opposite of death, because it's very simple. Philosophers are all men, and they're all male. The opposite of death is birth. And a female will tell you that, because we give birth. And it's become ingrained into our society that we think in terms of life and death as these opposites. It's an illusion. Of course it's not the opposite of death. The opposite of death is birth. Yeah. And I was like, it's so interesting. It's like this language thing we take on, and we think in terms of life, death. There's no duality between, there's no life and death. It's a complete illusion, because there's no death. Because there's no thing called life. You will never die because you were never born, because there's just you. There is no you, there's just aliveness. And that's what, if you want to assign yourself to something, you could say that you're the aliveness. That's all there is.
It's the form that is the illusion. The form makes us.
Yeah, it's like all the energy appears as form, and then when you feel that you are this me, then you see two things. You see energy. You think of a thing called energy and form, and it's impossible to see that actually form is simply energy appearing as form. That's simply energy chairing. That's all it is. There's no object called a chair. It's completely impossible. There cannot be a separate thing that exists in and of itself. It's completely impossible. But yet that's how we experience it, because we have a sense of experiencing ourselves, knowing ourselves as me, and then the world out there.
It's like the drop in the ocean, the drop of water. In the drop of water is the ocean.
Yeah.
And the ocean is the drop
Yes.
of water.
Yes, I mean, there's all those lovely non-dual analogies and metaphors that I, like you are like a wave in the ocean, looking for the ocean.
Yeah.
But you are the ocean waving.
Yeah.
And whatever, and they're all fine. There's nothing. The difficulty, in a sense, is it's not like anything.
No, that's true.
It's actually not like anything. And so this sharing this afternoon is just completely energetic. So I could have sat down and said all these lovely metaphors and everything, but like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just. It's indescribable. It's totally indescribable. That's the beauty of it. Someone could pick up a book, pick a book, pick a book, open the book, and read the sentence, "You are like a wave in the ocean," and their sense of self they could not be there anymore. Possibly. Who knows?
How did it happen for you?
It didn't.
It didn't happen, it was all
I mean,
there.
yeah, but one day or what happened?
Well, nothing happened. That's the difficulty.
Okay.
No, it's a fair question, but like the stories is going. So every speaker, if you hear a clear speaker, they can give you a story, but every story will be different. And if it's a clear speaker, they will very clearly tell you nothing happened. So nothing's going to happen to you. And so if I tell a story, it's despite anything I say in that story, actually. And that's how it is. And most clear speakers, they do come across a clear communication, which it just clarifies it. That's all. It just clears everything up. And the confusion, it just kind of falls away, and they see that actually nothing happened. So there you go. That's what, like, if the story of Kenneth was in any way significant, I would have started with the story. I would have started that on 15 years ago when I was doing this, and actually that would be a much more logical place to start, and much more engaging for people, because we are stories, we like stories, we crave stories. And if I was to start speaking like that in all my meetings, you would definitely get way more people, because it would feed that sense of something happened to Kenneth and it might happen to me. A much more dissatisfying thing is to hear from a speaker, "Oh, nothing happened." Oh, fuck it. What's the point in even coming here then? And I said, "Well, there's no point, is there? You're not here." It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the first time for me that I have heard this way of communicating this radically. I don't know how. Like, it's so simple, but it still feels like you're killing me, and I am volunteering to be killed. That's what I am feeling at this moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's gorgeous. That's so beautiful, that feedback. Yeah.